Hey everybody, this is Dr. Megan here with Mental Training Monday, and I am here with the founder of Mind of the Athlete, Dr. Jarrod Spencer, and we are going to be talking about something a little bit specific for the parents today. We're going to be talking about the top 3 tips for parenting student athletes. So, Dr. Spencer, we know that 70% of student athletes actually quit by the age of 13. However, we also know through the research that playing sports and utilizing all the skills that you learn and accrue from participating in sports is really good for kids athletically, socially, academically, and their development overall going forward. So how can we as parents help our kids stay in sports longer and make that experience overall more positive for them?
Yeah, great question. And the key is this: most kids are stopping sports because they're emotionally burnt out. They don't want to do it anymore because it's too much pressure, too soon, too early, before they actually had the emotional coping skills to manage what they were going through. Therefore, one of the very first techniques I want to encourage you with is simply this: get a hobby. You as the parent need to have a hobby with your son or daughter that you like to do. Now, a hobby cannot involve anything electronic. It has to be something done purely for pleasure, like fishing or carpentry work. Something that you and your son or daughter enjoy. Maybe it's, I know one family that were really into comic books and they went to a lot of comic book conventions. Find that thing. Here's why. Most athletes will tell you that their communication with their mom or dad about academic or athletic performance is somewhere around 90 or 95% of their communication. They don't have a lot of other words that they talk about. So what we want to do is have that topic of the hobby that you guys can shift your communication to. So if it was down to like 50, 60, 70% of the time you're talking academics or athletics, and the other time you're talking about the hobby, that's really, really good. It's going to help the kid from burning out.
That's great. And so a main tip being, get other hobbies, do something outside so that you and your athlete have something else to talk about besides sports. So your next tip for parenting student athletes, what would it be?
Take their cell phone out of their bedroom. The number one factor in performance is sleep, and what we know is our young people are sleep deprived. They are chronically tired, with athletes getting, on average, less than 7 hours of sleep a night, but they really need about 9.2. The biggest factor in this is that they're all lying in bed on their cell phone, playing on their cell phone. What that does is the blue light from the cell phone suppresses melatonin, which is a chemical they need to fall asleep. So instead of falling asleep at the time that they would, ideally, without a cell phone in the room, they're actually falling asleep a little bit later. And that extra hour and a half of sleep times 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nights a week suddenly is a significant difference in their academic and athletic performance. So tell the parents, take the cell phone out of the bedroom, make sure that after 9 o'clock there's no more cell phone in the rooms. They're all downstairs charging someplace together.
Okay, wow. Big factor, sleep there. So
they're not going to be happy with
No,
it.
they're not going to be happy, but if that's, one of those things, or overall it's going to help them not only athletically, but this sounds like for school and academically and also their mood, it's going to be really, really helpful.
Yeah.
So parents, get a hobby, take the devices, and the number 3 tip for parenting athletes?
The number 3 tip for parenting athletes, I would say, is to really empathize with your kid. And so the athletes today are telling me that you as a parent don't get it. Half of our population in college, say, are experiencing anxiety so bad that they're having like panic attacks, and a third have depression so bad they can't even function, according to the 2013 National College Assessment. That's for individuals in the past year. And so only 7% of parents actually say that their son or daughter actually has any mental health concern. Now, last month I was out talking to over 1,000 high school kids and asked them again and again and again, do your parents understand how much stress you're under, depression, anxiety? And overwhelmingly they all say the same thing: my mom and dad has no idea. They don't get it. And so the more you could actually listen, not talk with your kids, but really listen to your kid and have that opportunity to really understand what they're really going through. A lot of empathy, a lot of encouragement, but hopefully you would get it. And if you could get it, it's not going to make everything all better, but it definitely takes the edge off. It's going to improve the relationship with your son or daughter, and that is going to make a significant difference in their overall health and well-being.
Okay, great. So parents, you heard it here. You really want to get a hobby outside of sports and academics that you can participate with and talk with your athlete about. Help them get more sleep by taking the devices out of the bedroom, and then really listening to them, empathize with the athletes, giving them a chance to unload some of the stuff that they're going through, because we know that they're really stressed out and going through some stuff right now. So thank you so much, Director Jarrod, for coming on today and talking to our parents to give them some tips. Next week, Mental Training Monday, we are going to talk about coming back to your senses and how to use grounding, which is a technique that we often talk about with our athletes, to help be more present and in the moment and focused when you need to at that big competition. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you with you next week.